up, everybody? The Jason Dean here. Happy Tuesday, the 24th. It is 7 o'clock, and I am starting the soft launch. Of course, I thought I had started it. Maybe you're on and heard me do a false start. Part of why I wanted to do this tonight is to give a practice run, make sure that I have as many of the kinks worked out as is possible. I'm not a streamer by trade, but wanting to add this into the content that I'm doing. It's a way to connect with people that enjoy my work, share thoughts and ideas I have about my processes, kind of giving some background about the different photos, and also just a way to interact. One of the things when I left Facebook initially, I think it was last March actually, I had a decent sized following on Facebook for me, just over 1,000 people. But what I really liked about Facebook, there was a lot that I didn't like. Obviously, I left the platform. But one of the things that I really liked was there was a number of people who we frequently interacted, in the comment section. And I really liked that idea, that sense of community around art that I was creating. It was really cool and happened organically. And so that's a big part of why I want to do this live stream. I mean, don't get me wrong. It would be pretty awesome if somehow this ended up being like a money-making source for me. But that's definitely not the goal. My goal is just to give another way to connect with folks who appreciate my work, which is very humbling to me. And so, I want to just give this forum for being able to connect with people and talk about my process, talk about all that stuff. So that's enough of a filibuster, I think. With that, we're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm still kind of new to navigating chat, so I'm gonna try my best to keep up on that. I only have one monitor, so it makes it a little bit challenging. I'm figuring out what I'm gonna do for that for future streams, but for right now, I'm just gonna bounce back and forth. So with that said, I'm going to oops, I did not mean to do that. I clicked a button that I did not want to click, and it's gonna be okay, right? Everything is gonna be okay eventually. So let's see here. We are gonna move over to Lightroom Classic, and the photo that's on the screen, that's been on the screen, I took back in 2022. And I have actually had edited this photo, shared it. I really like it. The reason that I'm doing this now is that so this is a photo that I took during the late summer, and on this particular day, there was just swarms of tiny little gnats that were buzzing around the surface of the water. Let's see if I can pull it. Oh, no, that's not what I wanted to do. I don't know. Well, I'll figure it out. But anyways, maybe maybe I can do this. I will just give you a sense of how many little look at all those little dots. Those are like remove little things that needed to be removed. So I did this. This was almost 3.5 years ago. Took the little spots out. I had a picture that I liked. In that time, Adobe Lightroom has released some different distraction removal tools. And so what I am wanting to do, or what I did do, I'm not gonna sit here and have you guys watch me do that. But what I did is I did the dust removal, and I got rid of a lot of these. I went through and kind of went through and got the rest. It was a little bit of a process, but really what I was wanting to do was just use the updated technology to try and make sure that I had those removed to the best of my abilities, because I think that this is a photo that I want to add into my rotation. So I guess that's part of this whole process. And what I'm building into my workflow is that these live streams, the photos that I'm editing, and I'm looking to do no more than 4 photos at a time, but these are the photos that I'm going to be putting up for consideration for entry into my online store, into the photos that I'm actively selling. Now, I take a lot of photos, and I edit a lot of photos because there's a lot of photos that I like, but I've long had the philosophy that I only want my top work to be seen by most people, and I want my top work, if it's going to be purchased, if it's going to be displayed in somebody's home or a business, I want it to have the Jason Dean stamp of approval, which is a pretty subjective measure, but it's something. It's a way to ensure that there's a level of quality to my work that I feel strongly about. And I've talked about this in my newsletter at different times. I've talked about kind of my process, like letting photos kind of sit in a queue and wait and doing a bunch of passes. So anyways, this process, this live streaming, these edits that I'm doing, these are going to be photos that they may not end up in my online galleries. That may not be what happens to them, but it's at least another step in that process, again, to make sure that I'm that I'm putting my best foot forward. I do a lot of photo editing on Lightroom's mobile app, and you can do a lot of great things with their mobile app, but it's not certainly not as powerful as Lightroom Classic that I'm going to be editing these photos on. So with that said, let's get back to this. And I've got my my workflow here kind of laid out. Now, some of this stuff I did ahead of time. I'm pretty new to Lightroom Classic. I've used Lightroom a lot in the past, but Lightroom Classic is new to me. So with that said, so I'm going to do these lens corrections, and that's basically just a couple quick clicks of a button. Transform. Now, I don't do a lot of stuff with Transform. Transform is a really cool tool if you're doing a lot of like architecture photography, where you want you want buildings to look straight and not not the lines to be slanted depending on the angle that you're taking it at. I don't do a lot of that, so I won't be using Transform very often, but it's there because if I do need it, I really need it. So now we're going to go down to the basic section. This is where a lot of the magic happens. Now, normally I start with the camera profile. However, since this is a darker image, I am going to increase the exposure just so I can kind of see better what the different profiles do. And I tend to typically, I'm going to be somewhere in the camera matching profiles in Adobe. I will sometimes deviate just for artistic purposes, but by and large, I do like to stay within the color matching universe of Adobe's color profiles. Portrait is one that I like quite a bit. I also will do standard, and right now, out of these two, I think I'm gonna go portrait. Portrait is a little bit lighter than the standard one. So let's go back down. Now white balance, I think, let's see. Oh yeah, so auto white balance, that's pretty awful. It's way too warm. I like this a little bit cooler, and let's see what daylight does. Daylight has a little bit of magenta hue, not much. Also does make it a little bit warmer though. I think we're going to go with the as shot, and yeah, I think that is going to be just fine. So let's see here. Sorry, I'm just doing some work on the back end, the OBS side, and let us get back to it. So now this photo, I will probably do mostly global editing. I don't, because it's more of an abstract photo. It's more, there's not really a lot of different parts and pieces. There's not really a need, I think, to do a lot of masking, and that's in a photo like this. I'm definitely, I think there's probably a way that you could mask, but I'm not quite there in my editing skills. So I'll be doing some editing. The editing in this photo is going to be done globally. So let's make it. I want to make it a little brighter. Maybe there. And now we'll move down to contrast. And yeah, let's just. Now sometimes with sliders, I'll, depending on which slider, I'll come in and just do a bunch of, like just kind of crazy. Other times I'll kind of finesse it, and that's kind of where I'm feeling here with this contrast. I wanna accent that contrast, but I don't want to go overboard with it. And I think I got a good feeling about 17. 17. So we'll highlights. We'll bring down the highlights a little bit. And one thing that actually, now that we've got some really good light on this picture, I can give you, you see all those all those bugs, those gnats, they're just really kind of plugging up that this image, and I'm not opposed to doing some some removal of those kind of artifacts. I'm not I don't consider myself a documentary photographer. I'm creating art and a feeling and an emotion, a mood, and I guess there could be, if I had taken this picture with the intent of capturing the gnats buzzing across the shadows, there could be a case for keeping them, but it did not fit with my vision of this picture. I was just really caught by the softly rolling waves up to the shore. So Shadows. Let's let's bring the shadows down a little bit, just a little bit, not too much. And we will come down to the whites and bring those up a little bit. Bring the blacks down just a little bit. So yeah, what I'm wanting to do is create nice like some gentle contrast here. Now I mentioned just a bit ago that sometimes I'll crank a slider and sometimes I'll do more of a gentle nudging. These present sliders are ones that I'll crank it up, I'll crank it down, and just see what direction I kind of want to push the texture and the clarity. I think with this one I'm gonna go down a little bit. I do want to enhance this softness of this image. I like these soft rolling waves, and so I'll bring the texture down. Clarity, boom, that's all the way up versus all the way down. And I don't know, I kind of like it more down. That definitely enhances that soft. It gives it kind of an ethereal feel, which is pretty cool. But then I also am kind of liking what increasing it does. Like it just adds some different pieces or some different lines or what have you. So I think I'm going to go down with it just a little bit. Again, I'm wanting this to feel softer, and lowering the clarity is a good way to do that. Dehaze. I usually don't do much with dehaze, but just for demonstration's sake, you crank it, you really lower it. With this one, we're just gonna keep it 0. All right. Now, vibrance and saturation. One of the things that, as you watch these streams, I suppose there could come a time when I actually know enough about how all these different bells and whistles work to kind of speak to them in a smart way. I don't know that right now, so so if you tuned in to see a Lightroom tutorial, this is not that. I apologize. I have a sense as I'm working with the images of what the different sliders do, but not enough to like speak to them. So anyways, vibrance and saturation are there also. I want to bring up the vibrance because I love, one of the things that drew me to this image was the color, the blue color on this particular day. So I want to enhance that. I'll turn the saturation up too. I usually don't go hog on the saturation. Honestly, 6 is even a little higher than I usually, maybe go 2 or 3. Vibrance is, that's a pretty good number right there. One of the areas that I am really trying to improve at is my understanding of the tone curve. And how to use the tone curve to get really good, powerful, dynamic images. And I think one of the videos I was recently watching talked about using this point selector, so you get points along the curve. We can go, maybe here. That's good. And I don't know that there's much higher. And so with this, now at this point, now we can, so this is the shadows. So we'll bring those down a little bit. And right now, you can't really see this, but I'm hovering over the point, and I'm using the arrows to increase by little bits. Is that one thing that I've seen both in personal experience and from different creators that I've watched? If you can really go crazy on this tone curve and really kind of mess up your image. And obviously these are non-destructive edits, so it's not like you can really mess it up, but you can certainly make it so you have more work for yourself. And I like that, just bringing those shadows at that point in the tone curve down a little bit, the midtones up just a little bit. It looks a little bit nicer. And as I'm seeing this image come together, I am going to revisit the exposure. I'm going to make the exposure a little brighter. I'm going to make it a little more contrasty, and I think then I might bring up clarity just a couple. Not anything crazy. All right, color grading. This is another thing that I don't really do much with. I don't do much with color grading my images, but I do often work within this section. So what I mean by that is you can adjust for the midtones, the shadows, and the highlights. You can adjust the luminance, and that's something that I do quite a bit. Even in an image that I'm not going to mask, it is still nice sometimes to have some control over some more. It's not it's not a specific point on the tone curve. It's not an overall image contrast, but it's kind of an in-between section, and I like to sometimes adjust that the luminance, because again it's another way to introduce contrast. Yeah, and I'm really liking this so far. I think I'm going to end up cropping this image, but I'm really liking what I'm seeing in the middle, especially. I already did the denoising using the the Lightroom AI denoising. Usually takes a couple minutes. That's not the kind of thing I'm going to be showing on stream because it's really boring. So sharpening, I usually I think 40 is kind of the default for Adobe. I usually don't do much under or over that, and I will apply masking, sharpening masking, to there. We won't do any noise reduction because that's already been handled. I also like to do some vignetting, not much on an image like this. That might even be just a little too much. Let's go to 7. Bring it into the middle. Round it out. And feather it. I religiously feather my vignetting. And go for the highlights. I think that's looking pretty good. No, I think we might maybe just bring it a little, make it a little bit brighter. And if I do that, then let's bring those highlights down a little bit too. And shadows down. Just bring the whites down too. Okay. So I am liking this image. I like it. I like it a lot. I think that's all that we have on this tab. We're not going to do any masking. There's no red eyes to correct. I did the removal, and I'm pretty happy with how the removal worked. So now let's do some cropping. And prior to today, I probably would have just cropped this as a 16 by 9 crop, but I was messing around with there we go. I was messing around with 2 by 1, and I was like, that's pretty cool. I really like 2 by 1. I think I might move over 16 by 9. 2 by 1 is where it's at. So folks, I gotta say, I really like this. I think there's a good amount of I could probably bring it down just a hair. I like that there's an equal distance, like from the edge to this wave, to this crest or whatever. It's a similar distance, and yeah, this is before. Obviously, it's a very dark image. I think this was ISO 100. This is within like the first year and a half that I'd had my camera, and it was still very much in the got to keep it at ISO 100, and didn't want to like deviate from that. I also shot this at f16, so I could get as much of the water like sharp, the wider depth of field. So anyways, yeah, that is the first image. I like that a lot. All right, we're gonna move on to image number 2. Now this one I messed around with a little bit on mobile. This one I think I'm excited to see what I can do with Lightroom Classic. I took this one last year, November, and it was on a night with the Northern Lights. I was out at Presque Isle. Now, Presque Isle is not always a great place to see the Northern Lights, especially if you're on the North Harbor Ordock side of the park, because there's a lot of light pollution. But you can get some really cool pictures on a night like this one was. So the profile correction already helping with that image, making it lighter already. This one I took with my 35 millimeter f1.8. This is a 5-second exposure with wide open. So I was looking to capture the Northern Lights with the trees. I've talked to a few people about this. My favorite trees to photograph are actually when there are no leaves. Don't get me wrong, I love fall. Fall is an amazing season, but trees are much more interesting to me when they are completely devoid of leaves. And you see these kind of bright spots. That's where lights from the Ordock are shining on the tips of the trees. So so let's we got our lens corrections, transform. All right, now let's mess around with some of these profiles. Excuse me. And I think I think we're gonna probably, I don't think we want to do flat. It's either neutral or portrait, and I think we're gonna go neutral. I've seen several folks talk about this with Northern Lights photos, having it having the neutral profile, just so that you're enhancing the quality of the northern lights. So I think we're gonna try that. Now this picture, we are gonna, I think, do some masking because there's obviously stuff in the sky. There's the trees, and the challenge is, like, we want to get the sky brighter with some contrast to enhance those lights, making it darker in the dark parts of the sky, but then also wanting these trees to not. I would love to have the trees be. Oh, that's too much. Yeah, I want the trees to be more like they are. So I don't know that we're gonna do much for the the global image here in this Lightroom slider section. I think we can actually we can check the white balance. Now, white balance can be tricky when you have northern lights. It is certainly easy to botch the shots. I like this this coloring. I don't have any complaints. I think we will turn the vibrance. Yeah, we'll turn it up to about 20. Saturation, I don't want to go too crazy. Let's do 4 and see how that fits us. I don't think I'm gonna do tone curve at this point. Let's go down color grading again. My kind of mezzo contrast. We can bring the lumens of the mid tones up. The shadows, we'll lift the shadows to a little bit, and the highlights. Yeah, we'll lift those a little bit too. The other nice thing is, even if you're not doing the actual color grading, you can balance those and blend the different contrasts. So it adds a cool little thing you can do to make your images look a little better. Denoise we already did. Oh, did we miss the? We did. We missed the texture. Actually, I think because we're doing some masking, I don't think I'm going to do global texture, clarity, that sort of thing. I want to do that more local. So, we are going to apply. Now, this one I will bump up the sharpening a little bit, because I do want, I want those tree branches, limbs, the trees to be sharp. And we're going to mask it so that, it does get those. No noise reduction. Vignetting, let's add a little, let's add some, again, not super duper crazy, but we can add a little bit. I love a good vignette. All right. And now one thing, let's, before I get into the masking, let's crop this. Now I will say, my go-to is 4:3 orientation. I like that orientation pretty well, and I think I like it for this image. I mean, it could go 7 by 5. Which is not bad. 7 by 5. I guess one of the things that I think, I guess let's try. I like to mess around with square too, and actually, no, I don't think I like this one as a square. I think I like having the good amount of the trees, because that was part of what drew me to this scene was the northern lights against the trees. And all right, let's try something like this. No, see, I was thinking it was cool because this was like 2/3 of the image, and then there was no northern lights in the left third. But I think what I like more is having more trees. So let's see. What are we doing here? Yeah, this is. But then I also like having the northern. I think okay, and this. I apologize if this was the original crop that I showed you, and then took a little detour. I like to just make sure that image is what I want. I like this. They got the northern lights that cover most of the sky. There's a little bit on the left edge, but yeah, then there's a lot of tree coverage also. So that was the crop. And now let's do some masking. All right. So let's see what Adobe's able to do with the sky. And as you can see, actually it looks like they did a pretty good job. Yeah, there's a lot of red and space between the branches. So this is no, I don't think it's perfect. Right? Like there's probably some stuff in there that should be is technically sky, but that's actually a pretty good catch. And so one of the things I wanted to do, like I said, I wanted to brighten up the sky, right? Make the northern lights pop a little more. So let's bring that up like to 1, a little over 1. Contrast, we bring the contrast down a little bit. Yeah, it's tough sometimes, like with contrast in the northern lights, like you can increase it, and it can, like as you can see, it's making the overall appearance of the lights diminish, while also it does add some cool dimensions. Or you can lower it, and it kind of removes the definition, but also like increases the I guess the brightness of the lights. I think in this instance, because there's not necessarily a great shaping, I mean there's some, but it's not super great. I think I'm going to lower it a little bit just to maximize the brightness. Highlights, same kind of thing. Now I think we will bring the highlights up a little bit to maximize what we're able to see of the northern lights. Shadows. I do think we'll lower just a skosh. We do want to have some. We want to have some definition. And the whites we'll bring up a little bit. Blacks. No blacks. Yeah, I don't want to bring those down too much. So let's do that. And yeah, I think that's pretty good. Now, I could mess with the tone curve of this mask. That's something I haven't really done. We could go. So we could go. Yeah, the problem is they're basically on the same plot point, and I could do a color mask. So I could lower or make this part of the clouds darker, but yeah, I don't know that I want to do that. I've had pretty poor results trying to color mask. I'm sure I know it's possible. I have to work on it. So texture wise, now I do want to kind of zoom in, because we got the stars are the main thing in the sky, but also I think we're amplifying noise. There's not a ton of noise, but ISO 400, there's a little bit. So we'll bring the texture up just a touch. Let's see what clarity gives us. We're not gonna, obviously not soften it. We're not gonna crank it either, though. We'll just apply a little bit. Dehaze just to show you. Ugh. Yeah, we're not doing that with the dehaze. So, and actually, so now that I've kind of messed with the sky, I think I might come back, add a little bit more vignetting. As I guess I don't want this top edge to be super duper bright. All right, so now let's go back to the masking, and now we click on add mask, and so we're gonna do this the easy-ish way. We're gonna select sky, but then we're going to right click, we're gonna invert the mask, and so that gives us all of these trees. And now I think we can let's see what we can do with this. So we can make those. Yeah, we can make them a little darker. But we don't want to crank the contrast. We definitely don't want to lighten it. I think we might increase it a little bit. Highlights. I think we'll bring the highlights down a little bit. Shadows. That's a tough one. I guess one nice thing having the is you can see more definition of the trees versus lowering it, but I might just like a few whites. Yeah, let's just maybe a couple blacks. I mean, don't threaten me with a good time. Excuse me. Let's do that. Maybe just a little bit. Now, one thing that I could do, because as I pointed out before, we got the lights coming from the ore dock that give these a warmer temperature. What would it look like if I cooled those down? And that, no, we cannot do that. We cannot do that because even though this is did a really good job of selecting out the sky versus the trees, as you can see, it is not foolproof. Did not do 100% job, which, I mean, I can't fault Adobe. That would be insane to be able to do that. Now we could try, like, desaturate a little bit, but you know, I might try. I might try a color, so just to see what we can do. Otherwise, I think we are going to increase the texture a fair amount because these are trees. Let's maybe 22. What happens if we do 33 for the clarity? Yeah, I think that's pretty good. We're not going to touch dehaze. So, the last thing, mask-wise, like I said, let's try a little bit of color range. And click on that. That gives us a good amount of the affected trees. We can raise it a little bit to catch. Oh, was it not? I guess. Sorry, I thought I was doing something that I wasn't. How do you do that? Oh, there we go. So we can expand that. Maybe up to 56. Now we can try to lower the temperature. We don't want it to. We don't want it to look like fire. We want it to look just more like trees. Okay, so that's. If we go down on the green versus up on the purple, no. I don't know that I want to mess with that at all. I do like. What if we did 28? See what that looks like. That looks okay. I mean, those ones down there aren't really caught. think we're gonna leave. I think we're gonna leave with it, even though it doesn't completely get rid of the orangish hue. It does help. So it's it's a little less. So yeah. Now this one, from where it started to where it is, I like it, but I wish that there was. I do wish that there was a little more contrast in the sky, which maybe contradicts. I don't mean to contradict myself. I did want to brighten up the northern lights, but I also want the sky. So what if we refine it so that it's or we could leave it like that, and then we could subtract. What happens when we select brush? Oh, duh! That's not. Wow. Well, we can't edit that out, but I guess part of me was thinking brush like trees and stuff, but no. Can we do that? Can we select? That helped a little bit, I think. You probably figured this out. One of the things that I just do, regardless of whether I'm on stream or not, is sometimes I'm talking, but I stop talking because I'm thinking, and I can imagine that is going to be super fun for the audience. All right, well, let's see what this gets us. If we lower the blacks, I don't want to go crazy. If we lower the shadows, I guess we could even lower the whites. Okay, this is a little more, I think, what I had in mind. Now, I also could try, just for grins and giggles, so if we could crank that setch or reduce it. I think we might bring it down a little bit. I don't think we're going to go crazy. Okay. All right. So, let's go back up to that mask, and I think we are going to increase the texture and the clarity a little bit. We do need some contrast. Okay. So I like this one. I don't like it nearly as much as I liked the wave photo. But I think that is I'm going to sit with it. And I will still be sharing it in the newsletter. That's these 4 images are going to be the ones that I share in the weekly in the Weekender. If you're not subscribed to the Weekender, which if you are on this stream, there's virtually 100% chance that you are. Excuse me, but if you're somehow not, you should subscribe to The Weekender. It's my weekly newsletter where I talk about the things that are happening in my art. So, yeah, I'm going to sit with this one and see how I feel about it. We are now going to we're now going to come to this one. This is a December of last year picture I took of our Christmas tree, sun shining through the windows, and I had my 105 macro lens and just kind of just started shooting. So now this one I am going to start with the crop, and I think we were gonna do a 4x3. I think we're gonna do a 4x3, and we'll do our lens corrections. We will not transform, and we're gonna move to color profiles. Now this one I think I'm gonna do portrait. Portrait is one of my favorites. As you can see, it adds a little bit of contrast from what neutral does, but it doesn't go as far as what standard does. I like standard quite a bit too, but I think for this, I do want to go with the portrait color profile. And I'm not going to. I think I'm just going to go with what was shot as far as the white balance. Although auto and as shot are pretty close. I actually might go auto just because it's like a little bit warmer, and I think I like this shot to be just a little bit cooler. Can I tell you why? I can't. That's one of the things, and I don't know if you do your own photography and photo editing, like some of this stuff is just kind of, there's a feeling or a vibe that I'm chasing, and I can't always put it to words, but I know if something is right or not. That's why the last photo that we edited, like, it doesn't feel right now, even though I think I did some good work on bringing it up to where it is now. It just doesn't. It's not resonating the way that there's times where I'll edit a photo and it really is speaking to me. That's kind of what I'm chasing every time I edit a photo. Sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. So, all right. Exposure. This is pretty well exposed. Might bring it up a little bit. This one I'm not going to really mask. It's an abstract photo. There's not a lot of moving parts and pieces. So I'll increase the contrast a little bit. Highlights wise, we'll bring them down a little bit. Shadows, we'll lift the shadows just a skosh. Whites, we'll bring them up a little bit, and then the blacks will go down a little bit. Yeah, I think honestly, so this one, I shot it. It was 11 in the morning, 1/200th of a second. I feel like I did a pretty good job of getting the exposure right in camera. Yeah, I don't really feel like I need to do a bunch with that. I may play around with the tone curves just to see what I can extract from the image, but texture wise, so we can, if we go up, if we go way down, this one I think I'm gonna go just down a little bit. Clarity, we could, that's ugly. Yeesh. Or we could go way down. I think clarity might bring just down a little bit, again to soften it. Dehaze, we could do something like that, which is an atrocity, or we could do something like that, which is a little more interesting, but not the direction we're going with this photo. We are going to go back to 0. We'll bring the vibrance up, saturate it just a little bit. Tone curve. So I could do. We could like something like that. And okay. So with our two points. Now we can adjust a little bit. So we can bring this up, and that makes some stuff a little brighter. We'll come down here, and we'll, yeah. Oh man, okay, I like that. Yeah, a little. It's just basically a little S curve, very slight, but it does add a little bit of punch to the image. And now I think we're gonna actually. I think I'm gonna recrop it, because now I think having some of this brighter light on the left side, I think it adds a little bit of drama, and I think I might bring up the exposure just a little bit more. I'll bring the highlights down just a little bit. Okay, yeah, this one's coming together. I like this one a lot. All right, down to color grading. Probably come a day where I don't say this every time, but it is not this day. We are going to do our thing where we adjust the luminance of the midtones, the shadows, and the highlights, and then we blend it and balance it. Okay. Masking of the sharpening. We don't need to do a bunch. And we're not gonna do noise reduction. We are gonna vignette this one though. Yes. We'll move the midpoint. We'll make it a little rounder. Feather it. I always feather my vignettes. And voila. So this one I really like. I like it a lot. This is before, this is after. So not wildly different, but I feel like I enhanced the dynamic feeling of the image. Like the sun was obviously out, and there's some brightness that has been brought out, and by virtue of that, making other stuff a little more contrasty. So this one, yeah, I like this edit. Good job, team. By which I mean me. Okay, final image of the evening, and excuse me, appreciate you hanging out with me. I'm looking forward to doing more of these. So we'll start with the crop. Now this one, I think when I had edited it on my phone, because I do that a lot, even images that are gonna end up being edited here. I made this a square crop, and I think I'm gonna keep it because I did like did like the just the placement of these two boughs and how they fill the frame, the two trees in the background. There's a little bit of like, so I don't know, it's almost like a hashtag or a tic-tac-toe board or whatever, with the two lines down, the two lines over. There's this third of the frame is filled up. So I like this as a square. I changed my mind. No transform. It's an abstract image. Oh, excuse me. All right. So now we go. Let's see. That's so neutral, portrait, standard. Yeah, vivid. So like we'll go portrait. Yep. That's what we're gonna do. White. Balance. Not auto. Auto is making it way too warm. This was a winter shot. 2 weeks to the day before Christmas. So, I mean, if anything, we could probably make it a little colder. I don't want to go too crazy, but yeah, something like that. Something like that. Another decent exposure. Funny enough, this was 1/3200th of a second shot at f.56. Don't ask me why that was my camera settings. They were. That's what they were. So sometimes I'm still new enough as a photographer that sometimes I cannot tell you why I do what I do, which is kind of a metaphor for how I live life. We will bump up the contrast. We will raise the highlights. Oh, I'm sorry, that's on -1. We want to get that a little bit over 0. Shadows, bring them down just a little bit. Bring up the whites and bring down the blacks just a little bit. So again, this is the levels are pretty much where I want them. Out of camera, not always the case, but yeah, some fine tuning will make it enhance it. And I think with the crop we'll bring it up a little bit. Yeah, there we go. So texture, we could crank it, we could lower it. I'm going to bring it up a little bit. I do want to have a little bit more definition in this picture than is otherwise present in the raw file. Clarity, we will, let's crank it. So that's clarity all the way, clarity all the way down. Let's make it a little claritier. And I do, again, I want to kind of just reiterate that when I'm editing these images, there's a vibe, there's a feeling that I have a hard time putting into words, but it's what I'm chasing when I'm editing these photos. Like this, the last one that we did, they're similar, right? They're both of pine trees. They're both blurry, out of focus, kind of abstract. With this picture, I was wanting more soft, and I didn't go crazy, but it made it a little softer. With this image, it just feels like it needs to be like more defined, have more definition. And there's other factors, I guess, other than my feeling about it, but as I'm editing, that's what I'm feeling. So vibrance. Gonna make it a little vibranter, and 13. That's a little much. Let's bring that back a little bit to 10. Tone curve. We could probably do some stuff with the tone curve here. So if we could do that spot and that spot, and what about U spot? Okay, so now we got a three-part going on. So we can bring that down, that specific spot. We can go to this middle point, and we can raise it up like that. And then, so this one, some more highlighter point, bring it up. Yeah, bring it up to right around there. So I think I like that. I think we can, what if we make this a little bit, just a little brighter? Okay, we will lower the contrast. Okay, boom. Did our tone curve. We'll do our mesothelioma. No, that's not what that is. We'll do that for the shadows and highlights. Ooh, yeah. All right. Masking wise, let's do that. Sharpen masking. And the last but not least, some vignetting. All right. Whew. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's our before and this is our after. So, I really like this one. I like it. Okay, just that's all of the editing that I have to do for today. Just real quick, we edited this photo of some water on Lake Superior. We edited this photo of some trees in the sky in Marquette. We edited this photo of my Christmas tree and edited this photo of my backyard. So that is going to conclude the maiden voyage of my weekly live streams. I want to say thank you to everyone who tuned in. If you have any questions or comments or feedback, you can please feel free to email me those at wavesorwords@gmail.com. This is the first one of these, so I am, obviously wanting to get better, to improve, to make this a more interesting and interactive experience. So please let me know what you think. Yeah, I appreciate everybody that's hung out with me tonight. Next week, Tuesday, 7 o'clock Eastern Time, will be the first public live stream of my photo editing. So yeah, if you liked this, then please consider marking your calendars and coming back next week. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell your friends' enemies. But yeah, this will conclude the live stream. Thank you again, and we'll see you around.